What's this?
Hello, welcome to the Freak Show. Bumpy McSquigums here. I want to thank you all for joining me as I take another first look, this time at Torment Tides of Numenera. It is by inXile Entertainment, the folks that brought you Wasteland 2. And it is currently in Steam Early Access, and it entered Early Access back in January, late January in fact, of 2016. So why am I focusing so much on Early Access? Well, I know there's a bad stigma around Early Access, or there can be. Some people are like, some people have been burned by it, a lot of people haven't had any issues at all. I've had very few issues with Early Access games. However, I want to make you guys aware that Early Access, in this particular case, is a good thing. And there's a whole little book here in front of us that we're looking at that I'm going to read to you that will explain this. If you guys don't want the long-winded intro, just jump ahead to like 2.5 minutes in, and you'll be able to skip all this stuff. But if you do stick around and you do listen to the long-winded intro, gold star for you, thumbs up, yay, gling, get a little shine off the teeth, no? Okay. Alright, so what does it say? It says, "We appreciate you joining us during this early development build for Torment Tides of Numenera. The world we've created here is a highly detailed story set in a world unlike any other. We encourage you to retry scenes multiple ways to get a sense of how your choices can change the world around you. Releasing an early version like this has been incredibly helpful during the production of our last release, Wasteland 2, and we hope to get the same level of great feedback during the Torment beta. You are heavily encouraged to let us know your thoughts on different aspects of the game using the feedback button up here, or by going to our forums. We will be reading it. Do keep in mind that this is an in-development build. There will be bugs and unfinished elements. As we update the code, you'll get to join us in seeing things change on a regular basis. Hopefully you'll enjoy being a part of this process as much as we do. So, to set expectations, here is a list of things that we know are not complete. First, the UI is at a first pass across the board. It's functional, but stylistically unfinished. There are no merchants or stores. You will find, however, some additional items dropped in random spots to make up for not being able to purchase them. There will be sound effects and visual effects missing, but they will come in time. And the gameplay balance is at a first pass. We hope you're enjoying the core of the game. Alright, that being said, guys and gals, I have actually not treated myself to enjoying this just yet. So this is going to be my first dive into Torment Tides of Numenera. I have actually waited a little while to do this, guys. And I've been trying to get through a giant list of first look videos and just like games to do some coverage of, so you guys know what's out there. And I finally decided that I wasn't going to put this off anymore, and I wanted to begin. So let's start. And we will see exactly what we will see. Well, we'll see what this is all about. I'm pretty excited, guys and gals. I am pretty darn excited. Now, I imagine the load times will probably be a little bit higher than when the game is completely finished. Here you go. There are some things you should know about the Torment character system. I'm not going to read this whole thing. When the game starts, you'll be presented with a conversation window, and once finished, your character creation process has begun. In the first room, Fathom 13, you'll interact with 3 orbs and experience a memory in each. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. Alright, we're not going to look or read any of the stuff. If you guys want to, you can pause and read, but for now, we're just going to skip past it. Okay, well, let's see. I will be a male.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you.
Well, that doesn't sound good at all. Alright, well, let's continue.
Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them.
By the way, shout out to inXile Entertainment for making this amazing voiceover at the beginning. I gotta say, I love it. I love it a lot. Alright.
You force your eyes open.
Okay, we have 2 options. We can look at our body, or at this body, or we can look around. Let's look at this body.
Wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this?
Why can't I remember this? Indeed. Alright.
Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. The world is many kilometers below you.
Okay, it looks like we have 4 options now. We can look at the horizon, we can flatten out to catch the wind, we can try to judge how far it is to the ground, or we can dive toward the ground. Well, you guys know me, I like to go all in on things, so we're going to dive right on toward the ground.
You put your hands to your sides, and you slice through the air. The wind tears at your face and scalp, and your skin burns under the tremendous speed. Your vision blurs, and you are unable to judge how far you've fallen.
Alright, we have 3 choices now. Keep diving, the faster the better. Yeah, the daredevil lifestyle. That's what I'm probably going to do. Let's see, we can try to flatten out, nah, or we can look around. Yeah, let's dive, let's go. Go, 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 go.
Whispers itself into your mind. Terminal velocity. You have reached the limit of the speed the air will grant you, and now that you enter the lower reaches of the atmosphere, you can feel it thickening around you, and miraculously you are slowing from the frenzied descent.
Alright, cool, cool.
Slow is a relative term. You knife through the air, piercing its veils, and you have no time for the poetry of falling. This realization drives itself home as you strike an unyielding surface. As your skin explodes and your organs liquefy on impact, a brief thought flashes through your mind. Your life was utterly and completely meaningless.
Okay, well that doesn't sound good. Did we just lose the game? Whoa, what was that? We did, we just... That's awesome. That's awesome. This is a game where every choice obviously matters, and we just lost the game by making the wrong choice. That's awesome. Kudos to you guys. Kudos to you, developers. Alright, your story ends here. Most of your body is splattered across the ground. Your sole legacy to the world is a small crater near the Sagas Cliffs. We'll return to the menu and we'll start over. That's awesome. That is literally the greatest thing in the history of mankind. I love it. Let's start again. Let's see if we can make a few better choices this time around. We'll skip over some of the voice-acted stuff if we can that we've already heard. We'll try being a male again. Maybe that's the first choice that was
first
wrong.
Emotion isn't you force your eyes open.
Alright, we're going to look at our body.
The body is... Wait, without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. The world is many kilometers below you.
Okay, so we're falling at this point. Diving toward the ground doesn't seem like a good idea. We can flatten out to try to catch the wind, or we can look at the horizon, or we can try to judge how far it is to the ground. We're going to look at the horizon this time.
You are spinning too rapidly to get a good look. You can see a large landmass, a vast body of water directly below you, and scattered archipelagos, but the detail eludes you. A deep black night is above you, its nocturnal clarity disappearing as the haze of atmosphere envelops you.
Okay, well at this point it looks like we can lie flat to stabilize the fall, which seems to be, obviously this is like the 3rd or 4th time we saw flatten out to avoid falling. It seems to be the thing that we're going to have to do, so we're going to give it a shot here.
You spread your arms and legs and they respond smoothly, a strange sensation. Since you realize this body is new to you, the spinning and tumbling stops. The wind still howls past your new ears, a vast roar that deadens a part of your infant mind. Water springs unbidden to your eyes, the tears torn away by the wind. Through the haze of moisture, it is difficult to see. But if you focus your attention, you may be able to make out the details of the world.
Alright, we can either try to remember what happened, or we can focus and look at the world. We'll focus, because I think falling and trying to remember, probably not the best of ideas.
Now that you can focus on it, you see that the large mass is clearly a gargantuan megacontinent. The only land of any size on this side of the world, at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot its enormity, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down across its surface. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further north and east lies a broad plain, scattered with curious structures visible even from this height. The northeastern part of your vision is a perfectly circular desert, a blue dot containing a watery city in its exact center. To the west lies a ring of mountains, surmounted by enormous carven peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the ground. It's coming at you fast. Directly below you is a littered bay.
Okay, well that can't be good. We could look at the bay, we could try to aim for something solid, I think we know how that ends. Or we can try to aim for the water. I guess we'll look for the bay. Or at the bay.
Directly for a bright domed structure. It appears to have been carved from huge crystals, and it's connected via makeshift bridges and other artifacts in flotsam, and thence to the shoreline. Two people stand just outside the dome. One of them, strangely blurred, looks up at you and points, her other hands grasping at the sleeve of her companion.
Apparently the woman has at least 3 hands, because she pointed and then had more hands. So she has at least 3, possibly 4, maybe 8, 6, I don't know. But yeah, hands, guys. Hands.
He extends his right arm toward you, and a tangle of jagged lines and multicolor leaps from his hand, enfolding you. Your speed slows tremendously, but it is not enough. You strike the crystalline structure with a massive crunch, pain exploding through your body, even as you hear the squeal of a sudden energy surge from the underside of the building. And then, darkness.
Well, that couldn't have been good. Oh, there's no more voiceover. Alright, so no more voiceover for now, guys. Okay. You fell. You remember falling toward the curve of the world. The ground leapt up to claim you. Impact. You should be dead. If so, this is a strange death. It is strange, to be sure. There is no peace here, and your mind aches, struggling to form simple thoughts. This doesn't seem like death, nor like any kind of life you recognize. Alright, so we can move the camera with WASD. We are last cast off. Or lost cast off. You have to say it with like a weird accent so it sounds like a name as opposed to that. Alright, I guess we go over and we interact with the shiny orb of doom, or the not so shiny orb. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Alright, I guess we're going to examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. We can carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid, which would be might. We can examine the bowl again, or we can leave the bowl alone. Might! Alright, what is this thing? Using might. Okay, so... Each level of effort reduces the task's difficulty. So... it would be impossible on that side. It's challenging here. And here it's moderate. Alright, sure. Critical success! You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Look at that, we did it with our minds, folks. With our minds. Ooh, shiny. This is definitely weird. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows, and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light.
Hello? Oh, Skist, you're dead, aren't you? No, that can't be right. If he were dead, I would be too. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can say, I can hear you, who are you, where are you, and say nothing. I can hear you!
I can't hear anything. Are you even there? Well, if you can hear me, it means you're still alive. But you'd already know that, wouldn't you? Look, I'm just going to assume we're both alive and want to stay that way, all right?
That's a pretty good assumption.
So here's what you have to do. I can't get to you, so you need to build a way up to me. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, this is your mind. It's not like I have a map. Ah, this is your mind. I bet your memories are down there. Find them, and you'll repair the path up to where I am. Are you there? I'm talking to myself here.
Okay, we can say nothing. I can say, I'm here, or bellow as loud as you can. I'm going to bellow. We're bellowing, guys. Let's bellow.
What was that? I can't tell what's real here. Look, build a path up. Then we can face this mess together, and you won't be alone. I won't be alone.
The voice fades until it passes into inaudibility. Blank, oppressive silence falls, split only by the soft hum of new pylons rising from the depths. Okay, so that happened. Oh, hello, shiny bits. Well, we can go back. Well, you know what? We opened this pool thing, right? So why can't we just like go over and talk to the rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. We can overturn the bowl, or we can leave the bowl alone. I think we're going to leave it alone. We're going to run on over to this side. And what do we have here? The air thickens with each step you take towards this watery orb. The whispering voices flit across one of the countless aching gaps in your mind. This must be one of the memories you were told to find. Two figures swim down through the orb as though it is a fathomless ocean. One vanishes into the ebony depths before you can study it. The other, a male, seems to be struggling, or perhaps drowning. You realize that, like the swimmer, you cannot breathe. Tear the orb open to release the water within, or rescue the swimmer before he drowns. We're going to go with speed. And I guess we're just going to go with it normally. Alright, permanently gain 2 speed pool. Maximum speed pool is now 11. Yeah! Success. You plunge your hand into the orb and catch the tiny swimmer. Surprisingly, strong muscles flex against your palm, and the swimmer pulls you through the breach. As he does, you feel faster. Something about this place causes even your smallest choices to shape who you are. As you plunge into the water, a memory floods your mind. Whoa. Okay. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bauble of stale air your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems, well, distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennae. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, and that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Deceive him by telling him that you've heard sounds of pursuit. Threaten him until he returns to the task at hand. This is taking too long. Cast a spell, an esoteric, to fix the device yourself. Deceive him. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up surprised as you cut through his indecisive daze. He grimaces and says, "Alright, we'll be through the door before they can catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments on the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells with the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, and your hands are closing around a strange artifact that seems somehow familiar. It hovers above a pedestal, writhing and spinning as if alive. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Run! You can come back for it. They won't be able to protect it forever. Disable the sonar pulse or use a device to stop them. One of the ciphers in your belt. We'll disable the sonar pulse. You focus on the cloud base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled force field, almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, cast it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only the inky blackness of a Piscine eye. Well, that can't be good. The memory begins to fade as... okay. The memory begins to fade as you are being drawn backward through a tunnel and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into the gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. I don't know what that means exactly, but it's probably not good. Or maybe it's amazing. I don't know. But we're going to continue on, guys. Now, I realize that this is going to be a lot of the character creation part of the game. And, in fact, this first episode of the first look that I'm doing is probably going to almost only consist of this. But don't worry, guys. There will be more to come. It won't take me an entire week to do another one. I will do another one the following week so you guys can actually see a little bit more of the gameplay. But for now, let's continue. This orb, this memory, resembles an eye or masked face. It turns to face you with cold disdain. Mechanisms spin and mesh beneath the gleaming surface, and an ominous ticking begins. Getting faster and faster, two cold facts emerge from the metal gap this memory once occupied. The ticking does indeed mean that the device will soon explode, and you have no one to blame but yourself. This trap is yours, built to protect the memory within. Try to remember how to open the device. Perhaps that will disarm the trap as well. Work swiftly to disable the trap before it explodes. We're going to work swiftly. And we're going to once again go with this. Permanent increase of 2. Maximum speed is now 13. Success. Carefully you reach through the misty surface of the orb around blurring sawtooth gears and pluck out the heart of the device. Your body becomes more deft with each action. Suddenly the orb cracks at your touch, sending a memory jolting up through your arm and into your mind. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad declivity. Okay. A flat-bottomed bowl riven by a wide chasm. Moss-covered arches provide natural ingress and egress for the light, and a broad golden disc gleams up from the floor of the valley. You're self-aware. Humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seemed like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than any of the other ones we've found? Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of this site, and to remind her of the time constraints, or convince her with the wisdom of your superior intellect. I'm going to go with the hidden details that my experienced eye can clearly see. You shade your eyes against the bright suns so that you can point out the metal in the bluffs, the plentiful game to be found in the area, and the solid bedrock beneath the site. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound? Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend into the valley to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction. Examine the construct for mechanical faults. Look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the mystic metals nearby. We're going to use the Numenera. A fog oozes into the valley as you activate the time-scarred artifacts fastened to the construct's behavioral core with a sub-vocalized command. Wow, this is some serious language, guys. With an abrupt clack and a pulse of pleasant warmth, the device purges the error, and 7 copper-banded spheres drop out of evenly spaced rifts in the air. Ignoring this common side effect, you give new orders to the malfunctioning construct in a firm, clear voice. Acknowledged, and obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes and then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by a jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. The spectral voice didn't warn you that reclaiming your memories would hurt so much. And once more there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and it is hunting you. Alright, we have one more to go, guys and gals, and then I think we'll be into the game proper. What's gonna probably happen is, like I said, I'll get through the character creation, guys, get you a little tease, a little taste, and then we'll play around another couple of episodes, maybe even a few more than that. Depends on exactly how far I want to go in with this, and then we'll break off the first look until maybe a little bit later on in the development process. I don't know. I plan to come back to this a few times, and I'm definitely wanting to try this as a full LP. Your fingers are twitching. Your mind races. Each blink sends branching streams of white fire across the inside of your eyelids. You can't deny it. You feel stronger and sharper, more whole than when you landed here. Captive light swirls mockingly beneath the thick surface of the orb before you, obscuring shadows, memories behind it. You will need to claim them somehow if you were to be free of this place and find your companion. Well, we're going to crack it with our fists because we are ogres. We're not ogres. We're just going to go right down the normal here. Permanently gain 2 might. It's now 11. Success. You batter the orb with your fist until cracks spread across the glass, growing and joining. Your strength grows as you do so. Light leaks through the cracks like blood, filling your eyes with the orb's radiance, and your mind with yet another memory. A vision of a city springs up around you, your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. Okay. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. Creepy. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling, invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Well, we can trade blows with the giant. You can handle it, for at least a strike or 2. Duck under the giant's string and a swing and attack before he can strike. Or fight defensively, figure out who presents the greater threat. Well, we're going to play it a little bit smart and, well, you know what, we're going to go with the speed one. We're going to duck under and we're going to attack before he can strike. You roll under the blurring arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Okay. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are, and when he raises the great axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade under his breastplate. The blade emerges from the back of his neck, and his life's blood washes over your hands. He falls, taking your weapon with him, and his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses destroyed. Her return swing cuts through your armor, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this, she just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls it back for another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops screaming to the ground 50 meters below. Yeah! The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. We can hurl ourselves against the door and knock them to the ground. You can crack the door open to sneak past them, or charge through them, counting on your defenses to protect you. I'm going to hurl myself against the door and knock them to the ground. You charge through the dim shadows, dropping your shoulder into the door at the last moment. It bursts open. Halfway through its arc, it crashes into the pair of enemy soldiers, scattering them. You race through the door, blade in hand, and you dispatch your stunned foes before they have a chance to move. Their blood begins to pool in the hallway. Cool. Cool. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you. as though a massive fist has struck the room itself, swaying you on your feet. You see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. We should probably leave here. Oh, no, we need to go this way. Anyway, folks, I think this is where I'm going to break off of this first episode of The First Look. If you guys want more information about the game, the developer, or where to get the game, I'll have all that down below in the description of the video. Again, the game is called Torment Tides of Numenera, and it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. It's going to be a great classic RPG game, and you guys are just going to have a blast with it, I hope. If you guys played, what was it, Planescape Torment, I think is what it was called? Or Torment Planes. I don't remember the original game, guys. I do apologize. For whatever reason, I'm blanking on it. This is supposed to be, if I'm not wrong, set in that same world. I don't know exactly in relation to time and, like, is it along the same storyline or what? It's been a long time, guys. It's been over a year since I've read up on this game, so I'm a little behind the times, and I have forgotten quite a bit. But I'm very excited about this title, and I really, really, really want to play it a whole heck of a lot. So, when it comes out, I will definitely do a full LP of it, or at least do my best to not die plummeting to the ground and splattering like a little grape on the ground from the top of the Empire State Building or something, you know. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this first look video. I will be back next week with at least one more, possibly two next week, of, well, Torment Tides of Numenera. Until then, my name's Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you for stopping by the Freak Show, and I will see you later.